Hi, today's video is helping your child understand. And I found that most children that have reactive attachment disorder, they already feel different. They know something is different about them. And the reasons certainly can vary. But just by the mere fact that their first mom didn't take care of them, or she was unable to meet their needs for whatever reason, the child's left with knowing that they didn't come first. And with that, there's a lot of feelings that get attached to that. Shame, which certainly shouldn't be the child to carry around, but they do feel very shameful. If this is a biological mother with a child with RAD, she may have experienced an abusive spouse, uh, where she was living in turmoil. She may have been unable to provide her child with a nurturing environment during the first 3 years. Um, a mom may not have been physically or emotionally present for whatever reason. Um, could be that the child or the mother had been hospitalized, or the mother was deployed. She could have been drug addicted early on. Whatever, maybe you had alcohol problems during that time. Maybe there was someone who died. Anything that took you away from being physically or emotionally present or unresponsive, to your baby's need. If you are a bio mom with a child with RAD, it's good to let your child know why they feel unsafe now. That kind of carries on with them. They still feel unsafe because those first 3 years their needs were not met. Um, they have controlling ways, or whatever symptoms that they may have or that you may be experiencing. You want to give them an understanding of what's going on for them. So in order for your child to become safe, at this point, you definitely need to have a safe environment for your child, and for the primary caretaker to be in a good, strong, healthy place. They need a mother, who is not parenting out of guilt. A lot of parents that have RAD children and they're your bio children, they feel so guilty over some of the things that happened early on. We all make mistakes. Things happen in our life. And if this is you, parenting out of guilt is not going to work, okay, for your child. It's going to make them sicker. But you don't want to make any excuses, for the past either. So that mom needs to really own it, and apologize for the past, no matter what the reason is, whether it be your fault really or not. The thing of it is, your child didn't get its needs met, and so you definitely have to own it and try not to make excuses. Just say, hey, you didn't get what you needed, and I'm going to give it to you now. And I'm strong enough to do that because of whatever it is. I'm not using drugs anymore, or I'm not in that same relationship. I don't know whatever happened, but you kind of have to, you can't be in the same kind of situation and think that you're going to make your child feel safe, because that's not going to happen. So you need to go back, you need to provide the nurturing, the structure, and find a good attachment therapist. Now, if this is a child with RAD that is living with an adoptive family, the child would have experienced many different things. Abandonment issues could be in utero, that the child had feelings of rejection. If a mom's unhappy with the pregnancy, doesn't take care of herself, if she's not eating properly or she's drinking alcohol, that kind of thing, and the baby's not getting the right nutrients, the child can feel neglected as well. A child that has come from an orphanage or a foster care, a lot of the times they could have had numerous placements. They could have had different therapy that didn't work for them. They could have a lot of rejection feelings. A lot of them feel like they were a bad kid or they did something wrong. Maybe they think, I've been told a lot of times by children that they, cried too much, or they were too hard to handle, or not worth having. And so that's where the shame and the worthlessness, comes in. But if your child has feelings of wanting to, hurt animals, or, they have a lot of obsession with fire, gore, or thinking that they came from the devil. A lot of these kids think that they belong to Satan. These are all things that you want to talk about with your child, that you want them to understand. Hey, some kids actually feel like this. Do you feel like this? Don't give them too many ideas. Let them come up with them themselves. But at the same time, you do kind of want them to understand why they feel the way they do. Why are they acting different than other children? You want them to have some sort of idea of what's going on with them. So talking to your child is very important. So explaining to your child why they may feel like they're unwanted, letting them understand, well, this is why you feel this way, why they feel shame, why they feel worthless, why they feel different, why they live their life thinking their life is unfair. And well, it wasn't fair for them. So of course, they view it that way. So you want them to understand themselves better. And a lot of people don't like to label children. But you got to call a spade a spade. If I've got a broken leg, I got a broken leg. This is reactive attachment disorder. So letting them understand, oh, okay, this is what my problem is. And the best thing is that there's something that can help this and can be fixed. You really can't grow a new leg, sadly. So I found with these children, they do best when you take the time, share with them. And you also share with them what some of the ideas of what you're going to be doing, why you're doing what you're doing, okay? So explaining does help. It helps them to understand that they did nothing wrong, that they're not the reason, that they feel the way that they do, It helps them to know that it's not their fault that their mother didn't meet their needs. And I like to let them know that they have an opportunity now, to have a good life with a good family and with a different kind of mom. There's all kinds of different kinds of moms, and it's good to kind of show a little bit of variation, to show a reason why I'm going to do a better job, for you, which could be, that I love kids, or that I'm strong enough to handle this. Maybe your birth mother was too limited, at the time, whatever. So all this is just going to take the blame off of them. Okay, that's what we want to do, is take the blame off of them, and tell them that they're fortunate that they have a problem that they can fix, and that they can learn how to find out how God really made them, and what God wanted for them. I always tell them I wish I had a pill that they didn't have to go through all of this. I wish there was just some pill I could give to them so that they wouldn't have to work so hard, because they've already had such a hard time, and then they've got to work so hard to get healthy. It really doesn't seem fair, but definitely God's got a plan for them. And I let them know it's a lot of work on both of our parts, not just theirs. I have to work really hard too, and I'm not going to put in more than they're going to put in. Of course, we always do, but nevertheless, I can't work harder than they're willing to work. Okay. I also let them know that they didn't deserve what happened to them, and it's a sad thing that it did happen, but they certainly didn't deserve that, but we can be thankful that we can deal with it now. So I let them know, we already talked about normalizing their feelings. I let them know why. I explained to them why they don't trust. I also tell them, I wish they had came from my body. If you've adopted a child, to let them know, I wish I had you. I wish it had come from my body, or I wish, that they didn't have to live through that neglect, or I wish I was there and I could have protected them, that kind of thing. So I go through everything to let them know how they developed the mistrust. Everything that you've kind of learned, I let them know why their needs weren't met. And so in different videos, you can certainly know why that happened, and sharing that with them is really important. When babies are born, and they're not as complex as an attachment disorder child, because so many man-made things have happened to them, it makes them more complex, and there's so much more to find out about them. But we scramble to kind of figure out what's wrong with our children. And that's what we have to do with this child as well. The babies learn that, moms can figure it out. And your child, even though they're very complex, they still want you to figure it out. They have the same desire of the mom figuring out what's wrong. And it's just harder for us, because of all the different things that have happened to the child. So, a good thing to understand is just like a mother of a healthy child, scrambles to try to figure out what's wrong with her child, whether it's burping, changing the diaper, feeding the baby, to get that need met so the child's satisfied and trust is, built. Your child who has reactive attachment disorder has that same need, that they need that same cycle completed. Unfortunately, though, that cycle has been, has become much more complex because of a lot of man-made things that have happened for your child has been abused, or they've, have hunger issues. I mean, so many different, it could be sexually abused, whatever, neglected. But your child, in order to build that same kind of trust, is expecting you to figure it out. A baby doesn't know that it's, needs diapers changed. All it knows is it's uncomfortable. They learn when you change their diaper that, oh, that's what's wrong with me. And this is what this child is expecting too. In order for it to be healthy, your child with reactive attachment disorder needs to see you meet their need. They may not know what's wrong, and they don't, but you need to figure it out in order for that whole cycle to happen again, of trust, that circle of trust that we're talking about, that brings everything, to a place where the child is trusting and bonding and attaching. So the child doesn't know what's wrong, but it has the same dependency on the mom to figure it out. Okay. The problem for us moms, is that there's so many man-made problems that this child has encountered that, my goodness, we've got a big job ahead of us. We have to work to kind of untangle this array of issues that this child has, and the child is waiting for the mom, waiting for a mom who can do the job, and you've got to be that mom that can do that job to make that happen. So definitely there's work ahead of us, but we can do it. So the mom needs to explain why the child has control and where it comes from, why they're scared, and how to get, that they need to get rid of control, and that control is fueled by fear, why they think they need to take care of themselves, why they're jealous of the other children when they're having a good time. Your child needs to understand why having a relationship is scary for them, why they feel shameful, it just goes on and on, why they sabotage good things that happen to them because they don't feel worth it, why they think they're a bad kid, why they have bad thoughts, why they're afraid to bond to you. Okay. Yeah. They want to let them know why they test, because again, you're the mom that has got to learn to be the know-all. Okay. Why they're having a hard time when they're feeling scared and sad and they turn everything into mad, why they think they know best. Okay, instead of you, why they think they're smarter than you, why they steal and lie, the list goes on and on. Why they settle for negative attention. So your child needs to have some sort of idea of, okay, why do I feel this way? Why am I like this? And once you can kind of give them a reason, it validates their feelings, and then they can kind of rest assured that, mom understands this. There's a calming feeling that goes on for the child when they understand that you get, what they need and why they feel the way they do. So my main focus is to let them know how smart I am. Okay, and that's what you need to do, is to let them know how smart you are, and that they can feel safe, and they can stop viewing themselves as being weird or evil or strange. Okay, children with RAD cannot handle a lot of talking, even though I'm doing a lot of talking here, but you can take this in segments, with them, when you can see when they're kind of shutting down and they can't take anymore. Talk a little bit more about it, later. But it's a really good idea to kind of let them know what the problem is and that you're aware of it. Again, they need action more than talking. One thing we don't want is for them to have a victim mentality. Yes, all this has happened to them, and it's really sad, and you can share sad with them, but we're not going to let them fall into that victim place, okay? So mom's mental and emotional position needs to be like if she was going to have her child go in to have to get an operation. You would feel sad for your child, and you know that it would, they're going to suffer some and it's going to hurt, but you would become very strong for your child. And you would, tell them everything was going to be okay and that you were going to be there. You would let them know that, you let them know that you're the mom for the job. And that's what they need to know, that you're the mom for the job, that you can handle it. Um, and as long as they're willing to work, I always say, hey, as long as you're willing to work, I am willing to work. Um, so the task of healing your child falls on both of you. All right. So mom needs to be nurturing, and she needs to feel and share in the sad experiences. We don't want to live in sad or guilt. Certainly, we don't want to live in a poor, poor, pitiful child place. That's not good. It's not going to help them. Okay? So we're going to be redoing what they didn't get early on, and that's necessary for everyone's success. That's what we want to be doing so we can have a good, thriving family. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't be afraid to share with your child, and let them understand why they feel the way they do. I think it's a really beneficial thing. But again, always check with your therapist first and make sure that they agree, or before you try anything, try any of these strategies that I'm suggesting. So I hope you have a great day. I look forward to sharing with you again. And if you'd like to set up any phone consultation at any time, feel free. You can do that right on the site. Thank you so much.